There's nothing more important than family. Families provide us with love, joy, and a chance to go viral when your kid does something stupid.
Don't you lose these for your butt?
Don't do what?
Don't you lose these for your butt? You do lose it sometimes. The other days. So you still want a pack of them?
Put it back.
I'm a mom, and even I got scared when she said put it back. Sadly, not every child is lucky enough to have a stable home, which is why we have foster care. It's to protect children from real harm, not fun harm like making them pose for themed Christmas cards. The system is in serious trouble due to overcrowding. The number of children living in foster care increased by at least 12% between 2012 and 2017, due in part to nationwide problems like the opioid crisis. It's hard on kids and a burden for an overwhelmed system. Even the most generous foster parents can't meet the need.
As it said, there's no place like home for Olivia Swarzad and her husband. Since 2006, they've opened their Blaisdell home to 15 children. 6 of them now have a permanent place to call home with them. Running out of space, the family is no longer accepting placements. Olivia says it's been a tough decision.
There were days we would get multiple calls throughout the day.
They took in over a dozen kids and only stopped when they ran out of space. By comparison, I had 3 kids and then I paid to have my vagina paved over. It's so mannequin smooth down there, you could play street ball on it. But the overcrowding doesn't just come from children facing real neglect. Plenty of kids placed in foster care don't actually belong there.
On any given day in New York State, a black child is 5 times more likely than a white child to be in foster care.
When a call comes in for a white community, they go out and investigate. If a call comes in and it's a community of color, they'll put the infant car seat in the car.
That fact is so racist, it briefly got hired at SNL. Racism in the foster care system is a huge problem, and not just in New York. In New Jersey, black children make up 41% of kids entering foster care, despite being only 14% of the population. In some parts of Texas, black children were 8 times more likely to be removed from their homes than white kids. 8 times more likely. That stat is so racist, it did gold digger at karaoke and just saying the N-word. Across the board, poor and non-white families are far more likely to have their children taken away, like Laura Browder, who was arrested for child abandonment.
Laura says she just moved to Houston and had lined up an interview for a job. Unfortunately, she says she didn't have time to arrange childcare for 6-year-old Leilani and 2-year-old Jeremiah. Her interview was at the Memorial City Mall, so she decided to leave her kids at the food court while she says she walked 30 feet to the job interview taking place at a Starbucks.
It's not abusive to make your kids go to the mall. It's only abusive to make your kids watch 60 Minutes, or at least that's what my kids tell me every week. It's good for you guys. Browder wasn't neglecting her kids. She was trying to get a job to help her family while her kids were nearby. Finding a job is already super stressful, especially when the interviewer asks you where you see yourself in 5 years and you accidentally say, Dancing with the Stars, I guess. I mean, statistically, it's the truth, but you just shouldn't say it out loud. Taking away kids from black parents trying to find work doesn't help families. It just leaves them feeling like there is no way to win.
My daughter would fall and maybe twist her arm or something, and I take her to emergency. A call would be placed asking questions of me as to how this truly happened.
At Joyce's weekly support group meeting, we met other parents who felt the same way.
How many of you think that you were judged more harshly than white parents when the decision was made to put your children in foster care?
Okay, now raise your other hand if you think that's the dumbest question you've ever heard. Placing kids in foster care for the crime of their parents being black doesn't just hurt those parents. Believe it or not, it's also very traumatic for their kids.
When kids are removed from their home, it's a traumatic situation. We oftentimes have kids that are sitting here in our office building for hours at a time while we search for a foster parent who's willing to take them.
The act of placing children in foster care can cause lasting pain, so we should limit it only to cases where it's absolutely necessary, like we would with getting surgery or listening to a friend's podcast. The good news is that thanks to a new bipartisan law passed last year, we are taking steps to improve the foster care system.
The bill includes the Family First Prevention Services Act, another bill originally introduced by Senator Wyden and myself to strengthen families and reduce inappropriate foster care placements.
Okay, I know that watching Orrin Hatch speak is mind-numbingly boring, but what he's saying is incredible. So to help you pay attention, we added something to spice it up.
This legislation will help keep more children safely with their families instead of placing them with foster care. Under this bill, states will be able to fund effective services that have been shown to prevent children from entering foster care. It will also encourage states to place children with foster families instead of in-group homes.
How cool is that? I mean, not just the skateboarding bulldog, which is obviously rad as balls, but Democrats and Republicans actually cooperated to pass a law that helps protect children and keep families together. This law is a great start, but no law can fix racism and no law can fix overcrowding. We can do better. Across the country, there is a shortage of foster parents. We need more people who are willing to provide safe, caring homes for children who need one. CPS workers and others who work with kids need better training to avoid racial biases. And most importantly, we should provide families with resources they need from the very beginning. Things like universal child care and employment and housing services and parental leave. Every child deserves a safe and caring home. Am I right, DJ Barky Bark? You guys can see him, right?